The Galactic Council chamber was filled with an uneasy hum, the soft whir of holographic projectors casting shifting lights across the vast-domed room. Alien diplomats, each representing their species, were locked in heated discussion. The air itself seemed to vibrate with the tension of conflicting voices. At the center of it all, a lone human ambassador, Captain Elias Mercer, stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his expression unreadable as the fate of his people hung in the balance. "This is reckless," a delegate hissed, their elongated limbs twitching in agitation. "Humanity cannot be allowed unrestricted access to the galactic stage. We have classified them as a threat species for a reason." Their holographic display showed images of human adaptability in hostile environments, combat footage, and records of historical wars fought long before humanity even knew of the Council's existence. Across the chamber, a reptilian warlord let out a low, guttural chuckle. "You fear them because they survive where others perish. But survival is not a crime. Strength is not a crime." His slitted eyes flicked toward Mercer. "Tell me, human, what do you say to these accusations?" Mercer exhaled slowly, stepping forward as every gaze in the chamber fixed on him. "I say that fear is a poor foundation for judgment. The same tenacity and resilience that you call dangerous are what have allowed us to thrive. We are not conquerors. We are not destroyers. We are survivors. And that, more than anything, is why we deserve our place here." A murmur rippled through the chamber. The holographic displays flickered again, this time showing a galactic map, key points flashing red where human expansion had taken root. A scholar, their translucent skin reflecting the ambient light, tilted their head. "You say you are not conquerors, yet you spread across the stars at an alarming rate. Your colonies appear on worlds others deemed uninhabitable. Your people endure conditions that would kill most species. Explain that, Captain Mercer." Mercer's jaw tightened, but he kept his voice level. "We do not spread out of conquest but necessity. Earth is our cradle, but it is also a world of challenges. It has shaped us to be adaptable. Every advance, every step we take, is driven by the need to survive and build a future for our people. Yes, we colonize harsh worlds. Yes, we push the boundaries of what is possible. But not as an act of aggression. As an act of survival." A representative from the collective, their bioluminescent tendrils pulsing in agitation, interjected. "And yet, your adaptability is precisely what makes you unpredictable. Your physiology is remarkable. High pain tolerance, rapid healing, extreme endurance. You withstand environments that even our most advanced species cannot endure. How can we trust a species that nature itself has seemingly designed to outlast us all?" The question hung in the air. Mercer took a measured step forward. "Trust is not given freely. It is earned. Humanity has made mistakes. We have fought wars. We have struggled. But tell me, is there a species in this chamber that has not?" He let the silence linger before continuing. "We do not seek to rule. We seek to stand beside you, to share knowledge, to contribute to the advancement of all. Isolation breeds ignorance. Cooperation breeds progress. If you fear us, then work with us. And understand us. Let us prove to you that we are more than the sum of our hardships." A deep rumble came from the massive form of a Elden, their massive crystalline body shifting as they finally spoke. "And if we do not? What will humanity do if we deny you a seat in the council?" Mercer's eyes met the Elden's, unwavering. "Then we will do what we have always done. We will endure. We will explore. We will thrive. With or without your approval." A hush fell over the chamber. It was not a threat, but a statement of fact. The reality of human nature laid bare. The council members exchanged glances, some in deep contemplation, others in silent unease. Finally, the arbiter of the council, an ancient and respected entity of the, raised a delicate hand. "We have heard the arguments. The decision before us is not one to be taken lightly. Humanity is a force unlike any we have encountered before. Whether they will be our greatest allies or our greatest challenge remains to be seen. The council will convene in private to deliberate. This meeting is adjourned. As the council members dispersed, Mercer remained for a moment, exhaling slowly. The battle was not yet won, but the tide had shifted. And in the depths of space, the future of humanity hung in the balance. The council chamber was filled with the low hum of murmurs as the various alien representatives exchanged wary glances. The declaration had been made, humanity had entered the new era, and with it, the balance of power was shifting. Seated at the center of the grand circular hall, a diplomat, his translucent skin pulsing with nervous energy, finally spoke. "This is unprecedented," he rasped, his elongated fingers drumming on the glowing panel before him. Humans were once regarded as mere primitives, brash, impulsive, reckless. And now, they stand at the precipice of dominance. How did this happen so quickly? His words were met with scattered nods, though some figures remained silent, eyes locked onto the lone human representative at the chamber's heart. Ambassador Renard adjusted his uniform, his expression unreadable as he surveyed the gathering. "We didn't ask for this," he said calmly, his voice carrying despite the tension in the air. "We didn't seek to disrupt the order of the galaxy. But we adapted. We endured." He leaned forward slightly, eyes sharp. "We survived. And in doing so, we have earned our place among the stars." A heavy silence followed his words, broken only by the flickering of holographic projections displaying better reports, technological advances, and evidence of human expansion. The delegate, a towering reptilian being with yellow eyes, let out a low, guttural hiss. "Survival is one thing. Conquest is another. You claim that humanity seeks peace, yet your history speaks otherwise. Wars, rebellions, colonization. How are we to believe that this so-called new era is anything but the beginning of your ascension at our expense?" Renard met the gaze without flinching. "The past cannot be erased, nor should it be ignored. But we do not seek war. We seek coexistence." He gestured to the holographic displays. "Look beyond the conflicts, see the worlds we have rebuilt, the alliances we have forged. We have extended our hands in diplomacy. It is up to you whether you take them or turn away." The murmurs in the room grew louder, representatives whispering in hushed, urgent tones. A official, her bioluminescent tendrils shifting colors in agitation, narrowed her many eyes. "And what of your military might? Your technological leaps in such a short time defy logic. There are whispers that humanity has unlocked something unnatural." Her words hung in the air like a challenge. Renard exhaled slowly. "You underestimate the human spirit," he said simply. "When faced with adversity, we evolve. That is our greatest strength. We do not break. We do not surrender. That is why we have come so far, why we are standing here now." His words sent ripples through the assembly. Some nodded in grudging respect, others clenched their fists or tightened their mandibles in frustration. The divide between acceptance and resistance was clear, but the undeniable truth had been spoken. Humanity had changed, and the galaxy would have to change with them. Just as another delegate prepared to speak, a sharp chime echoed through the chamber. A new projection flickered to life in the center of the room, casting a cold blue light over the gathered officials. A message intercepted from deep space, unknown ships approaching the outer colonies, their signatures unlike any seen before. The air thickened with unease. This cannot be," the diplomat murmured. "The edges of the galaxy are uncharted, devoid of known civilizations." The representative's eyes darted back to Renard. "Is this your doing, human?" Renard's jaw tightened. "No. But we will find out who they are." He turned to the council, his presence unwavering. "The new era is not just about humanity. It is about all of us. And if something is coming from the void, then we stand together, or we fall alone." The air in the war room was thick with tension as holographic displays projected the latest readings from the outer colonies. Lines of data scrolled across the screens, detailing the unknown fleet's trajectory, size, and power signatures. Alien and human officers alike stood around the central command console, their expressions ranging from calculated calm to barely concealed concern. A strategist with translucent skin pulsating in nervous hues leaned forward, his elongated fingers tapping rapidly against the interface. "Their fleet is unlike anything we've encountered," he murmured. "Energy readings are erratic, almost shifting. This is no ordinary armada." General Edenrath, standing with his arms crossed, exhaled sharply. His scarred face remained impassive, but his eyes flickered with something dangerous, something that had kept humanity alive through wars and impossible odds. "So they're new. That doesn't change a damn thing," he said flatly. "Every civilization we've faced had their own unstoppable advantage. And yet, here we are." His gaze swept across the gathered officials, daring them to challenge him. A official clicked her mandibles, her bioluminescent tendrils shifting colors rapidly as she studied the displays. "Bravado alone will not win this battle, General Rath," she said. "You humans have proven resilient, but resilience does not make one invincible." Rath smirked. "No, but it makes us damn hard to kill." He turned toward the towering reptilian warlord, whose clawed hands remained clenched behind his back as he observed the data in silence. "What do you see?" Rath asked. The narrowed his yellow eyes, his voice a low rumble. "A species testing us. Their formations are loose, probing. They are not committing their full strength yet." He turned to the others. "They are watching, studying, preparing." Renard, who had remained silent until now, finally stepped forward. "Then we do the same," he said, his tone measured but firm. "We won't fire first, but we will be ready." He turned to the strategist. "Show me their positioning again." The holographic display zoomed in, revealing formations of shifting ships, their dark metallic hulls absorbing sensor pings like phantoms. The frowned. "Their ships move in unpredictable patterns. Unlike any known fleet doctrine. Almost as if they react to observation." Rath's expression darkened. "That's a problem." Before anyone could respond, an alert blared through the chamber. A live feed from one of the colony outposts flickered onto the largest screen. The grainy footage showed a barren world under a twilight sky, the colony's defenses standing silent as strange shadows moved just beyond their reach. Then, suddenly, the air itself seemed to fracture, and the figures stepped into view. They were tall, too tall. Their bodies seemed fluid, shifting between solid and something else, their forms barely anchored in reality. Their eyes, if they were eyes, gleamed with a cold, alien intelligence. And then, as the feed distorted, a single voice cut through the static. A deep, resonant tone that did not belong to any known language, yet somehow, everyone in the war room understood. "We see you." The feed cut out. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Rath exhaled sharply, rolling his shoulders. "Well," he muttered, "that's new." Renard turned to the council members, his face grim. "Now you understand. The new era isn't just about humanity rising. It's about what comes next." The room remained silent, but the shift was palpable. The game had changed, and humanity was ready to play. The fleet hung in the abyss of space, countless vessels standing silent against the backdrop of a dying star. Within the command bridge of the Sovereign Dawn, the tension was suffocating. Tactical officers moved with practiced efficiency, scanning readouts, relaying orders, and adjusting formations as the final moments before engagement stretched endlessly. Every species in the coalition had sent representatives, their expressions ranging from fear to quiet determination. The enemy had arrived, and the war that would define the new era was about to begin. General Edenrath stood at the center of the bridge, his hands clasped behind his back. His gaze remained fixed on the looming shapes in the distance, the fleet of an unknown species, their ships shifting like shadows against the void, never fully solid, never fully real. The data feeds still struggled to define their true forms, as though reality itself rejected their presence. It was a sight that should have unseated him. Instead, he exhaled slowly and nodded. "Open a channel," he commanded. A communications officer, a young woman with cybernetic implants along her temple, hesitated before complying. "Channel open, sir." Rath took a step forward. His voice was steady, unwavering. "This is General Aiden Rath of the United Terran Federation, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Coalition. You have entered our space. You have made your presence known. This is your one and only opportunity. Identify yourselves and state your intentions." For a moment, there was only silence. The strange ships remained still, neither advancing nor retreating. Then, the bridge lights flickered. A deep, resonant vibration filled the air, as though the very fabric of space trembled with something ancient and unseen. "You should not exist." The words did not come through the speakers. They resonated in their minds, bypassing translation systems, bypassing speech itself. A sensation, an absolute certainty, filled the bridge. These beings did not communicate in words, they communicated in truth. Beside Rath, Admiral Renard clenched his jaw. "That's a hell of a greeting," he muttered. The presence continued, its weight pressing upon them. "This reality was never meant for you. You are an anomaly. A mistake." Rath's lips curled into something almost like amusement. "Yeah, we get that a lot." A ripple passed through the alien fleet. Their forms wavered, flickering in and out of existence. The officers on the bridge tensed, awaiting the inevitable. The beta was coming. The strategist, his translucent skin shifting into a deep violet of concern, whispered, "General, we are outmatched. Their nature is unknown," Rath finished for him. "But we've fought the unknown before." He turned to his weapons officer. "Prepare all forward batteries. Target the leading ships. Let's see if these things bleed." The alien presence pulsed again. "You cannot fight inevitability." Rath's expression hardened. "Watch us." The movement shattered. The alien fleet moved, no longer hesitant, no longer distant. They surged forward, reality bending around them as if the laws of physics had been rewritten in their favor. The Sovereign Dawn's alarms screamed to life as Hasta signatures flooded the system. "Incoming," a tactical officer shouted. The first wave struck like nothing they had ever seen. Weapons fire phased through some ships, impacting nothing, while others struck something solid. Something that recalled and reformed, as if the enemy ships decided when they wished to exist. Coalition vessels scrambled to adjust, to find a pattern, to understand the impossible. But humanity had never been wants to accept impossibility. "Focus fire," Rath barked. "Find a weakness. Make one if you have to." Across the battlefield, human ships adapted with terrifying speed. Pilots executed maneuvers, closing distances where energy weapons failed, ramming enemy vessels when nothing else worked. The other species in the coalition hesitated at first, overwhelmed by the sheer impossibility of the enemy, but then they saw the humans, fighting, surviving, winning. One ship found a pattern. Then another. Then another. The enemy, for all their eldritch power, had never faced a species like this. Had never encountered beings that refused to break, refused to bow, refused to accept the fate written for them. And as the battle raged, as human ships tore through the darkness, the enemy presence rippled once more. This time, its voice did not hold certainty.